Maybe we should brush up on the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, like they do here in Epcot at the Walt Disney World Resort near Orlando, Florida. Hello, I'm Begley Jr., and this is today's Environment. What are some of the other things people are doing right now to make this world a little more livable? We're going to show you. Blocking the sun's rays may be good for you, but that energy shining down upon the Earth gives us light, warmth, and many other benefits we're just beginning to discover. The next segment proves that our sun is truly an environmental star.
93 million miles from here, the most powerful energy station in the solar system generates and delivers multi-megawatts of power every minute without a single overhead wire. The sun. Every day it pours boundless emission-free energy onto our planet. Each year, the amount of sunlight falling on the continental U.S. alone equals 10,000 times the energy consumed by the entire world. Now, scientists dedicated to producing electricity without reducing the atmosphere to ruins supply the technology to harness the enormous power of the sun so it can be cleanly converted to watts, volts, and amps at an affordable price.
Ammonix Incorporated of Torrance, California, designed an integrated high-concentration photovoltaic system to convert sunlight into electricity on the massive scale required by a public utility.
The Arizona Public Service Solar Test and Research Center, one of the nation's major utilities, opened this 20-kilowatt commercial system and put it online in Tempe, Arizona. These solar panels represent a significant technological breakthrough in photovoltaic or PV power generation. Computer monitors constantly track the sun and drive a motor that rotates these receiver plates to maximize their performance. Another design innovation dramatically reduces the amount of costly silicon solar cells used on the panel. Other PV systems require the entire light collecting surface to be covered with cells. But this integrated high-concentration PV system uses inexpensive, lightweight plastic magnifying lenses to concentrate the sunlight onto the solar cells. It reduces the area of silicon needed by approximately 250 times. This dramatic reduction in the amount of silicon slashes the cost of producing these panels and may bring the price of solar power generation down to one that's competitive with traditional fossil fuel sources. Ammonix sources note that the advancements in solar technology achieved in this high-concentration design has set new records for sunlight to electricity conversion efficiency. This performance has been demonstrated to U.S. Department of Energy specifications and verified by EPRI, the technical arm of over 700 utilities who sponsored the development.
Their solar cell was recently honored with the R&D 100 Award, often called the Oscar of Invention, as one of the world's 100 most technologically significant products of 1994. This achievement was also personally commended by the U.S. Secretary of Energy, Hazel O'Leary.
This new generation of high-concentration PV systems may be the breakthrough we need to advance solar energy to a mass-produced level that can replace our dependence on either emission or waste-heavy power from fossil fuels and coal-fired combustion. Hopefully, we've reached the twilight of the combustion age, and we'll wake up tomorrow in the dawn of a new, cleaner solar era.
Do you like to fly? You could rebuild the entire fleet of commercial airliners 4 times with the amount of aluminum we threw out in just a year. Those cans add up. Don't throw them up, and away. Recycle and get involved with today's environment today.
No one can afford to burn money, but that's exactly what you're doing if your house isn't properly insulated. About half your energy leaks out of windows, attics, and cracks. Don't throw your hard-earned cash into the furnace. Here's a better idea.
The torture test. Performance measured against extreme conditions. During a dark Alaskan winter, every day is a torture test for a home heating system. The extreme cold makes home heating bills the second highest expense on the family budget. Only the monthly mortgage costs more. The Alaska Housing Finance Corporation wants to change that statistic and spearheads a unique public-private partnership designed to keep Alaskans warmer, their air cleaner, and their energy bills lower. Energy Rated Homes of Alaska is the bridge between the housing industry and consumers to help the state reach its goal of cutting home energy use. As part of the initiative, the Energy Rated Homes of Alaska program established a statewide home energy rating system. This tells a home buyer how efficient a home is, in much the same manner as a miles per gallon sticker does for auto buyers. This translates to some very concrete financial incentives. A buyer wanting to purchase a home with a top 5-star plus energy rating can qualify for a larger mortgage loan and a lower interest energy efficient mortgage. The bank knows the monthly heating bills will be lower in a more efficient home. Currently, Alaska's 188,000 households pay over $214 million for home heating. Improved energy efficiency could cut that bill in half. The state of Alaska now requires building contractors to take a course in energy efficiency. Real estate agents and loan officers also have become familiar with the market implications of a home's energy efficiency rating. Some realty companies now offer energy ratings on every home they sell in this last frontier. And appraisers now consider the rating when they calculate the value of a home. The state offers rebates and incentives for major energy-saving upgrades, and local utilities promote the use of more efficient appliances. Many banks allow those improvements to be financed as part of the mortgage. Both the U.S. Department of Energy and the National Council of State Housing Agencies have recognized Energy Rated Homes of Alaska as the most outstanding state program of its kind. Already, these programs have changed the way homes are built in Alaska. Houses constructed in 1993 average 45% less energy per square foot than homes built in 1985. That bodes well for the federal government's Climate Change Action Plan and means less power plant emissions will be fouling our air. If Alaskans can cut their energy consumption in half, we all can do it. And when lenders are willing to mortgage their future on energy efficiency, it's a development our environment can bank on. In a moment, on Today's Environment, a public utility helps protect wildlife, plus what you didn't know about Texas resource conservation. Next.
Mosquitoes can drive you nuts, but many animals love them, especially for dinner. They're a vital part of the food chain. All life on planet Earth depends on other life, so it's very important that we don't upset nature's balance. This next segment explores that idea.
This marshy plot of New Jersey real estate is for the birds, literally. It just happens to be the rest stop and feeding ground for thousands of shorebirds during their annual 7,000-mile migration from South America to the Arctic Circle. This pit stop serves up the best horseshoe crab eggs in the Western Hemisphere, and these shorebirds love them. By the time they arrive, these birds have lost nearly half of their body weight. Before they leave, some of these birds double their weight and get so fat they must practice flying before they begin the second half of their journey.
The shores could have become another condo line Gold Coast, but New Jersey's Department of Environmental Protection bought them in 1989 with mitigation funds provided by the utility Public Service Electric and Gas Company.
As a result, this prime real estate will remain undeveloped to protect the horseshoe crabs and preserve this sanctuary for the shorebirds. In another mitigation project, the utility will acquire and protect up to 14,500 acres of ecologically sensitive shoreline along the Delaware estuary. These wetlands provide a natural hatchery and feeding ground for many saltwater fish and other organisms. The estuary also supplies food and shelter to many additional forms of wildlife. Twice a day, high tides carry the bay's salt water over the banks and flood the marsh. Low tide sends most of the water back out to the bay, leaving tidal pools and mud flats where plants and animals flourish. From microscopic plankton to magnificent blue crabs, these shores teem with life at all levels of the food chain. Local farmers diked many of these marshes to prevent the natural flooding to grow salt hay, but this blocks out fish and other organisms. Unmaintained salt hay farms and wetland areas deprived of tidal flow can become choked by common reeds called phragmites. Or dikes become breached and result in shoreline erosion, upland flooding, and loss of fish and wildlife habitat. Now, PSE&G's Estuary Enhancement Program will restore many of these areas to healthy salt marsh. Marsh grass, such as Spartina alterniflora or smooth cordgrass, will soon flourish again and provide critical fish and wildlife habitat. The restored tidal flow will supply decayed matter and other microorganisms that smaller fish and estuarine creatures feed upon. Company officials note that this program will also preserve adjacent uplands, expand monitoring of fish abundance, the food they eat, and other biological components of the estuary, and reduce barriers to fish migration and spawning through construction of fish ladders. Restoring salt marshes and generating megawatts may not seem to be related, but on an Earth where all living creatures are interrelated, by preserving something as basic as a salt marsh, we may be laying the foundation for our own survival.
Want to brighten your smile? Don't run the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 9 gallons. Think before you turn on the water and get involved with today's environment today.
Potential. Sometimes the biggest energy users can become the biggest energy savers. One small change in behavior or equipment can translate to a giant difference in consumption. This next segment takes a closer look.
Everything's big in Texas. Unfortunately, that includes utility bills too. So when the state took aim at its Texas-size energy costs, they looked to conservation in a big way. Typically, buildings eat up more than 30% of our annual energy resources and waste a great deal of what they consume. In response to this fact, the state of Texas instituted the Lone Star program, which provides revolving low-interest loans for energy-conserving changes or retrofits in public buildings and schools. Since the loans get repaid from the energy savings, the buildings identified as having the biggest potential energy savings receive the first priority. A program like this requires close monitoring before and after the retrofits, and the governor's energy office accepted the challenge. They hired researchers from the Energy Systems Laboratory at Texas A&M University to develop computer software, computerized models, meters, and monitors to keep a 24-hour-a-day watch on the buildings qualifying to borrow the money. The accuracy of the sensors installed in the heating, cooling, electrical, and other systems holds the key to the success. First, they identify a building's energy usage and areas of potential savings. And after the retrofit, they verify the actual savings and chart new usage patterns. Many buildings constructed before the late 1970s were designed to keep construction costs down and disregarded energy concerns because energy was cheap. Now, it can pay to change some of the equipment, add insulation, and operate buildings differently. Energy Systems Laboratory personnel at Texas A&M credit their first ever system with generating the data that allows them to map hourly, daily, and weekly usage patterns. These energy usage logs verify energy savings and can point to problem areas for further conservation refinements. The early success of the program fueled its rapid expansion. Improved lighting systems, variable speed motors on fans and air handlers, and well-calibrated sensors that monitor where every watt, amp, and volt flows make up some of the major weapons in this war against wasted energy.
The Lone Star system is saving enormous amounts of tax dollars. When it's fully implemented, the total savings could exceed $850 million over the next 20 years. And every dollar of that translates into less air pollution and more protection of our natural resources. Texas has always been a leading energy producer. Now, they're also becoming a leader in energy efficiency.
Sweet Texas crude. Selling this resource made the state famous, but now their efforts to conserve energy may be the stuff legends are made of. Diverting vinyl from the waste stream now that it's easier to recycle, plus an air pollution solution to blow away Denver's brown cloud. Next on Today's Environment.
Enough! We simply cannot keep throwing our trash into the ground. Can you imagine the cities of the future built on mountains of our garbage? If we don't change, that's what our children may remember most about us. This next idea may help.
If this land were an animal, it would be on the endangered species list. Every day, more landfills in America close, and yet we still rely on them to deposit about 90% of our trash. These pipes may offer part of a long-term solution to that problem. Every one of them represents a reduction of the solid waste stream because much of the plastic comes from recycled vinyl. These specific pipes will collect the noxious gases released by the decomposing trash in a covered landfill. In turn, that gas can be burned to generate electricity. A landfill like this produces enough energy to light 8,000 homes a day. But the fact that the inner core of the three-layer design comes from recycled vinyl materials means that they already have helped reduce the stress on existing landfills.
Collecting and separating plastic materials from other trash is still very difficult. But according to the Vinyl Institute, the development of new technology is improving vinyl recycling dramatically.
Virgin vinyl can produce a high-gloss glass-like clarity. It can be used in rigid plastic containers and clear film wraps, and it can be manufactured with a molded-in handle. When diverted from the waste stream and recycled, this disposable vinyl packaging can be recycled into durable plumbing and building materials, truck bed liners, automotive parts and electrical components, and much more. Recycling a disposable into a durable eliminates that material from the waste stream for many years. But distinguishing different plastics can be difficult for hand sorters. Vinyl has a built-in invisible identifier that helps. This new machine can sense the presence of chlorine molecules in the vinyl plastic and diverts it to a special bin with a blast of air. Other sortation devices using gamma rays, infrared scanners, and other high-tech analyzing tools may become available and affordable in the future. Not just disposable vinyl products can be recycled. Scrap from durable products such as vinyl siding can be reprocessed too. Some estimates calculate that 6% of the vinyl used to protect the side of a home is scrapped. This can add up to a large amount of waste, especially in subdivisions where they use vinyl siding on most homes. Still, vinyl plastic represents less than 1% of the total solid waste stream. It certainly does not present the enormous waste problem that other materials do. But sources at the Vinyl Institute say that no amount of waste can be ignored, especially if it can be recycled, which vinyl can.
That attitude should provide some welcome relief for an Earth whose landfills should be a last resort.
Well, they say nothing lasts forever. Sometimes it's better to recycle old cars and appliances and get newer ones, engineered with the earth in mind. Many new products can conserve energy and reduce pollution. Here at Innoventions in Epcot at the Walt Disney World Resort, they showcase some near-future products and technologies, but in this next segment, you'll see an idea that's working today.
How much would you pay for this automobile? Don't answer yet. Consider this. It smokes, it smells, it rattles. It's completely beyond repair. This person will pay $1,000 for it. It's a representative from Total Petroleum's Clean Cars program, where residents of Denver received cash for their worn-out cars. Research showed that 50% of Denver's air pollution from auto emissions came from only 10% of the vehicles. That data put an important bounty on these old, gross emitters. The aim? Find them, repair them, or get them off the road forever. A Denver-based oil company, Total Petroleum, initiated this program in an effort to help clean up the brown cloud over the city.
We decided that it would be nice to put together a program under which we would try to solve, at least partly, the pollution problem in Denver in a cost-effective manner.
The company donated $500,000 to permanently retire the 500 biggest polluters for $1,000 each. They found that 218 of the vehicles could be repaired up to compliance and paid $500 to service each one. The effort should eliminate about 240 tons of carbon dioxide and hydrocarbon emissions from the air each year for the next 3 years. As a partner in the program, the state of Colorado helped to identify the right vehicles to participate in the plan. Repeated emission test failures, the state's smoking tailpipe hotline, or being cited by a remote infrared sensor made up the 3 possible ways to get inducted into the polluter's top 10%. An official letter then invited those owners to turn in their automobiles and collect the check. Hopefully, that money will go towards the purchase of a cleaner running vehicle, and the old car will go to the scrapyard so the steel, rubber, and plastic can be recycled. As little as possible goes to the landfill. Taking 500 big polluters off the road may seem like a drop in the bucket, but it's a step in the right direction. Sources at Total believe that this program meshes well with its introduction of Premier gasolines, a new line of cleaner burning, low sulfur auto fuels, and other company environmental excellence programs like ride sharing, designed to combat the local air pollution problem. Conversion of vehicles to compressed natural gas in 250 fleets continues as a high priority project, and a $100,000 donation to the Clean Cities program helps convert other vehicles to dual fuels. For $1,000, they buy a car whose scrap value might total $60 or less. Yes, it may be the worst deal in the world, but if it helps clear the air, it may add up to the best bargain on Earth.
Getting caught in the rain used to be something to sing about, but now acid rain has become a major problem nearly everywhere in the world. It's a tough problem to solve because emissions that cause it usually come from a source far away, sometimes another country. It's one more problem whose solution will require global cooperation. Here at World Showcase within Epcot at the Walt Disney World Resort, it's clear that we all have a vital role in this planet we share. And I hope this program helped you become a little more aware of yours. Join us again next time as we explore more environmental solutions on today's environment.
To purchase a complete written transcript or a videotape copy of this or any edition of today's environment, write to this address or call 1-800-877-7769.
If you know of any interesting environmental success stories, call us at 407-997-9800. This has been a presentation of 5 Star Productions USA. The preceding program was sponsored in part by a grant from Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care.